Another beautiful day. See how the water lilies, I don't know, I don't think they're water lilies, but they do sit on top of the water, how they come out in the sun. It's so beautiful. I took some home to put in the bird bath and they've all but died, but then they come back. I need to change the water. I think that's it. So I'm feeling a little bit down today. I woke up just huddling under my sheets, wanting to stay there and feeling some profound sense of grief and sadness and loss, and I didn't know what it was about. Do you ever have that? Well, I just laid there praying and it was so lovely. And Mum had gone to bingo. She gets a bus. She gets picked up by a private, like a taxi service, to take her to bingo at the RSL. And it was so nice. I just thought, I'm going to lay here. And next minute I heard the door go and I thought, oh, who's that? I was a bit scared because I have some people in my life that are scary, and I was scared that they'd come round and entered the house, which I'll talk to you about later. And anyway, she was looking for her. There's a dog catcher, is it? No, just the council. She was looking for her phone. She'd come back because she'd lost her phone. And I said, Mum, just go. You don't need your phone. And she's 94, but she's so obsessed with her phone and organisation and planning. I hate it. And anyway, after she left, I needed to pray because I just felt very strong emotions, and I started praying and just saying, and not just praying, but allowing the emotions to come up. And I just felt this, it's going to sound horrible, sheer hatred of her. And normally when that comes up, I think, I don't want it to come up, because who wants to feel that? But I allowed it because I was in a safe environment. She wasn't around me. And I realised I had frustration and anger towards her from years ago, of her being a certain way, that I wasn't able to have boundaries. Will I go into it? Okay. She seemed like the whole world revolved around her. And because I noticed when I was in bed, I was thinking, this is so nice. And she comes in and goes, can you help me? And I startle and come to attention and jump in to help without even thinking. And I felt how I felt her whole life, that she was demanding and expected to say jump and everyone say how high. And if ever you tried to communicate or show, well, because you never tried to communicate because you just felt angry because you weren't allowed to communicate, that's how you felt, it turned into anger and bitterness and resentment. Just got to pick up some puppies. Actually, it's a sloppy one, so I'm going to just cover it. Stop it, Facey. No way I'm picking that up because there's nothing to pick up. It's a slop. And these cute little kids up there, they're preschoolers. And very strong person she was, and wanted attention. And then if you said you felt frustrated and or you were angry or upset about something or tried to have a boundary, she would act passive. She would do this thing where she'd go, yes. Anyway, so she was always at the top. Always getting the better of you. Anyway. Anyway, I realised after allowing this anger, oh boy, was it powerful. It was so strong. It came and it went. And I realised that's the old. She's not doing that now. Now it's dementia. And it was so good that I did that, went through that process, because it comes up every now and then, this sheer resentment and anger, this powerful emotions. I get triggered. And I realised, hallelujah, she's not doing that really. This is just the effects of dementia. But the thing is, they look so similar, so that's why I'm triggering. Because Mum and I had 3 years, beautiful years, where we were getting along. And that came at a time where I had pretty much given up trying to have a relationship with her, because it was so difficult, problematic, impossible. It felt impossible. And then one day she asked me to pray with her. She said, can you put in me what you've got? They were her words. So I did. And she totally changed. She went from what I would call being very narcissistic to, we had the most beautiful times. We talked things out. She listened. It wasn't always easy, but we worked together to go through that jungle, which was amazing for a woman of her age. She was 90 then. And then suddenly dementia kicks in and all those old ways seem to be coming back. And I'm like, what's going on? And so it's really important when you trigger, you don't judge yourself. You don't, because I could have judged myself and said, how disgusting. Fancy feeling hatred towards your mother. Fancy feeling like, hatred in itself. They're just emotions, and they have to come to a head so that you can see kind of like what the banner is on them. What does it say? What is it saying? And it's not completely gone, but a huge big part was taken today, because I was able to see it. I was able to see what it was, what was happening, why it was happening, where it was coming from, and then come into my right mind today. You know what I mean? It's not that was a wrong mind. It was, but I don't want to call it wrong. It's a skewed mind. It was a mind that was triggering me and telling me I was in danger. Something was happening. Something was happening that I wanted to get away from. Excuse me. And so by allowing that tide to come in, washed away, and what I was left with was the true situation. She wasn't doing anything deliberately to get at me, like she, I believe, had seemed to in the past. You know, I mean, she was a very horrible, wicked, difficult person. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it's true. Well, that's how I saw her in the past. But I've experienced my mum also as my friend, and seen what made her like that, you know, like she was able to communicate with me and tell me what she went through, which once upon a time she would never talk to me like that. But after this time she asked me to pray with her, it wasn't a magic wand. It was like we began to do the work through stuff. I think she wanted to. She was willing to. She was open to, for the first time, maybe. And it just seems like since she's had the early stages of dementia, we've just gone backwards. And I've just felt like, oh my God, I've got to get away from this. Just look at this beautiful day. So I just see that as a step forward in the right direction, you know. Sometimes you've got to go one step back to go 2 steps forward. And who wants to go back? Who wants to go back in the past? But triggers take you there, you know, or can take you there. It's quite warm today. So I take the doggies for their walk. Fairly short one today, because I don't really enjoy walking in any sort of heat. I wouldn't say this is hot, but too hot for me. But there's a lot of stuff that I need to talk through with God, with myself, go through, kind of clean out what's going on, what comes up, so that I can move forward. In the meantime, I'll show you what I see. It's such a common thing to trigger with your parents, isn't it? Because we really didn't have a voice. From our era anyway, my era. They were the voice of power. Who is like the Lord? Who is like the glorious one? Birdies. Chip, 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 chip. Butterfly just went past. Butterfly just flooded by. Hey Faithy, how you going today, darling? What about you, Ram? Yes, I get very puffed. Probably because I've got weight on too. I think that is a contributing factor. So I'm carrying around more. A lot of my fat is in my belly, just underneath my chest. You know, I like the idea of the gym, but whenever I'm thinking I've got to go to the gym, I don't like the feeling. Yeah, so the reason Mum didn't need her phone, I felt, because she'd made the guy drive all the way back, and he's got other people to pick up, you know. So, because they take her there and they pick her up, and there's people all around her, and they all have phones. She was a manager of a motel years ago, and she worked like 90-hour weeks. And she's never left there. Like, she still runs her life on a diary and a clock and a watch and phones. And not long ago, she used to ring me sometimes 4 times a day, not to say anything, just to go, hello. And I am one, probably because of how my mum's been, that loves freedom. But I was also like that because of my dad. Because he used to just take off for the day and you wouldn't hear from him. Mum would go, I don't know where your father is. And he'd come home. I'm talking, he'd go to the beach. He'd be doing exercise. He'd be enjoying life. He wasn't needed there. We were all grown up. He was just embracing life. Whereas Mum was all about the clock, all about organising, all about control. Hated it. There you go. Got to take the keys, didn't I? There you go. Good boy. Oh, I'll take these off you now. So I'll tell you about my stressful situation soon. I just think I don't know if you really want to hear stuff like that, negative stuff, when you've probably got enough of your own stuff going on. And yeah, let's just see.